everyone to wear face masks in stores, why it's now just a strong recommendation.
Some businesses on the governor's phase 1 list are getting ready to reopen.
If I didn't feel confident in it, I wouldn't be here working.
How a local dentist office is ready to see patients once its doors reopen. And the future of restaurants.
There's going to be a big learning curve for the restaurants, and the more patient the customers are with us as we're going through the learning curve, I think the easier it'll make it for everybody.
Celebrity chef Michael Symon weighs in on how restaurants will be impacted. He's also stepping up to make sure local restaurants have what they need.
The Quarantine 15, it's a real thing. Why you shouldn't be worried about the few pounds you may have put on, and how to slow down on your snacking. And celebrate together, stay apart. The perfect gifts to make Mom's Day even if you can't visit her. What's new starts right now.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Yeah, no doubt Mother's Day is going to be very different for many of us, but we will find a way to make it through. Hello again, everybody. Thank you so much for choosing What's New. I'm Jay Crawford, still coming to you from my studio at home. My partner, Betsy Kling, back at our WKYC studios, and she's going to get us started today with the news of the day. Betsy, good afternoon to you.
Hi there, Jay. Hope you're having a great Tuesday so far. Yesterday, Governor DeWine laid out his plans to reopen the state and required that everyone in stores, employees and shoppers, wear face masks. Well, today the message is a little different. Masks are now recommended, not mandated. Laura Queso is here with what this means as you move into the next part of the reopening of Ohio. Hi, Laura.
Betsy, and this is a big deal because it affects all of us, right, when it comes down to the masks. Governor Mike DeWine says he faced some backlash when it came to that mandate that employees and customers must wear face coverings in stores as the state starts to reopen. So he's changed his mind, apparently. Today, he announced that while wearing masks is recommended, it will not be mandatory when Ohio begins reopening on May 1st. He said this comes down to listening to Ohioans, including those who feel the idea of being forced to wear something they don't want to is offensive. Or the mother he spoke with last night, who said the masks prove difficult for her son, who has autism.
I've heard you, and we're not going to mandate this. We're going to leave it up to the individual customer. But it is going to be, for most people, for those who can do it, a recommendation, in fact, a strong recommendation that individuals do this.
Now, the governor says he will be wearing a mask when he goes out in public. He also told us today that he told his family to do the same thing. Laura Queso, 3 News.
Thanks, Laura. We'll see you again in just a little bit. Well, all of us are certainly looking forward to getting back to business, but the coronavirus is still very much a part of our daily life. Here in Ohio, we have 16,769 confirmed cases as of today. The 5-day reported case average is 415. So if you can see that yellow line there, I know it might be kind of hard to see, but it looks like we've dipped down in the number of daily cases reported over the last 5 days. Meanwhile, the United States is hit a big number today. More than 1 million cases have now been confirmed in the U.S. There's been more than 56,000 deaths across the country. Jay?
Betsy, now on to your feed at 5. And first up there, now that Governor Mike DeWine has explained how he plans to restart Ohio's economy, people are eager to know what the region's biggest city will look like this summer. So many people rely on recreation centers and city parks, including the lakefront, to relax and have a good time. And the city's festivals draw people from all over the Cleveland area. Cleveland Mayor Frank Jackson spoke to reporters today on the phone about reopening the city, noting that he was wearing a mask while speaking during a teleconference. The picture of the city this summer, he says, doesn't look much different than it does right now.
As part of the reopening of the economy, to do it in a way that keeps Clevelanders safe. But to say that, well, this summer, and we want special events, and we want the parks to be crowded and people to gather, and all of that, that's premature.
Mayor Jackson says everything is subject to change based on guidance from the governor and on the future numbers concerning the spread of infections as the economy opens up. He told 3 News he'll continually reevaluate his plans. Now, the countdown for some businesses to reopen is just days away. Tiffany Tarpley shows us how these businesses are getting ready.
The move to restart Ohio is happening now. Dentists will be among the first to fully function starting on May 1st. McCormick Dental Group in North Ridgeville is ready to do just that. Dr. Brad McCormick says they've been performing emergency procedures since the state shutdown and had to reschedule hundreds of appointments. Patients have to wait in their cars, not the reception area. Workers are wearing protective equipment and temperatures are being taken.
Yeah, we've been doing this. We feel like we're comfortable with what we're doing. Yeah, there is a scare out there still, but we're following our protocol. People that have been trying to hold out, in the beginning of this, can't hold out anymore.
While some offices are ready to move forward, others are not. Strongsville Dental and Laser Aesthetics is waiting until June to resume a full schedule. Coming up at 6 on What Matters Most, I'll let you know why and the special equipment that they're using. Tiffany Tarpley, 3 News.
Well, as the role of parents expands into teachers, and we've all been teaching at home, school superintendents across the country have come together to ask Congress for more than $200 billion. It's a call for help as schools face unexpected challenges after closing their doors more than a month ago. Here's Amani Abraham with more.
Our kids are going to have high needs coming back. How do we recover what is over a quarter of a year of lost time?
Cleveland Metropolitan School CEO Eric Gordon is among around 60 superintendents across the country with the Council of the Great City Schools. They're supporting a call for additional funding to help with things like meal services and bring affordable, high-speed internet to students.
I'm confident that Congress understands these needs. They did back in 2008 and 10. Through the recession. And what we did here was to forecast what we had learned there to provide an estimate of what we think it will take to recover now.
And today, Cleveland Mayor Frank Jackson says he expects to see a renewal levy for the district on the November ballot, but did note it could be a challenge to pass. Amani Abraham, 3 News.
Thank you so much, Amani. Well, we get another check of some of the other headlines making top news today. Russ Mitchell joins us from over at the news desk. Hi, Russ. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday to you, Betsy, and good afternoon, everyone. Airlines are now stepping up their policies to contain the spread of the coronavirus. Beginning Monday, JetBlue will require passengers to wear a face covering throughout travel from check-in until they leave the plane. And American Airlines says it will pass out face masks and wipes to its passengers beginning early next month. A North Carolina family's dog is now tested positive for coronavirus. While some pets seem to contract the virus from humans, the CDC says there is no evidence animals can pass it to humans. And the dates are in. The 2021 NFL Draft from Cleveland will be held April 29th through May 1st. While the exact location for the event has not been announced, the Greater Cleveland Sports Commission says fans will gather at iconic locations near First Energy Stadium and the Rock Hall. And Betsy, I understand you're already predicting wonderful weather for those days. April 29th through May 1st, 2021. Did I hear that correctly?
Easy peasy. We got this, right? I mean, it was supposed to rain today and it's been sunny, so who knows?
The 366-day forecast. That's what we love about you.
Okay, well, we'll start getting on that. Thanks a lot, Russ. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Jay?
Well, Betsy, if it's easy peasy, I have a few other dates that I'd like to put in for beautiful sunshine and 75 degrees. I'll talk to you about that after the show. Well, by now you've probably all heard of the Quarantine 15. It's the first cousin to the Freshman 15. And whether you've added 5 extra pounds or 15, health experts say don't stress right now about the scale. And they point to several reasons why. First and foremost, you have a lot of other things to worry about right now. Secondly, you might not be able to get everything on your grocery list that you need in order to eat healthy. And 3, dieting might only add to your stress levels. Listen to this. This is fascinating. One study that monitored food intake showed that when some participants' stress levels went up while their caloric intake went down, their bodies actually began to produce more of a stress hormone that's called cortisol. Obviously, this isn't the case for everybody, but It's a good reminder not to add stress to an already difficult time. So what to do? Well, we have some recommendations. They're not easy, and they're going to take some willpower, but you do have to keep these in mind through the day. First, stop the grazing, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. Every time you're bored or you walk into the kitchen or buy a bowl of snacks, you grab it. That all adds up during the course of the day, and that's unneeded calories. Also, pay more attention to your hunger and your fullness, and here's what I mean by that. Figure out when you're somewhat hungry, not starved, but when you first start to feel hungry, and then eat, and you're not going to eat as much versus waiting until you're hangry, hungry and angry at the same time, and then you overeat. That's what we don't want right now. Also, and this is a tough one, because I know so many people do this, stop the emotional eating. Instead of eating when you're stressed or restless, change up your routine. Get up, go into a different room. If you can, step outside, get a breath of fresh air. The change of scenery may take food off your mind. I hope those things work. All right, still ahead on What's New. One of Cleveland's most famous chefs is weighing in on how the coronavirus will impact the state of Ohio's restaurants moving forward. Plus, what Michael Symon is doing to help local restaurants. Stephanie is also coming up with what's clicking in Cleveland. Hi, Steph.
Jay, I know you know the Cleveland Browns grabbed a pretty promising wide receiver with our last draft pick. So now we're going to take a look at how he fits into the overall offensive lineup. Now we're going to check in with Matt Wentz to see how it's looking outside. Hi, Matt.
Hi there, Jay. A beautiful day outside, but we are watching some showers and thunderstorms that'll be developing overnight as we get out towards the west. Those will impact us on our Northeast Ohio Wednesday. I've got the forecast for you coming up.
Welcome back to What's New. In Ohio, there are nearly 600,000 restaurant and hospitality workers. Many of them, of course, right now are without a job. Celebrity chef and Cleveland native Michael Symon is doing his part to offer some relief. Austin Love caught up with him on his efforts and what he believes is next for Ohio restaurants.
First place I'll go after this is all over is I'm going to my mom's house and I'm having her make me lasagna.
Like all of us, even celebrity chefs like Michael Symon are dreaming of quarantine being lifted and indulging in a favorite meal again.
That will be the absolute first thing that I do.
Until then, the Cleveland native isn't just focused on his restaurants, but the industry as a whole and the tough future that is ahead for both businesses and its employees.
I would say 3 out of 10 probably won't be able to reopen again, and so that that's going to cause a lot of hardship for a lot of people.
That's why he's teaming up with the app Cameo to help raise money for the Ohio Restaurant Association's Employee Relief Fund to help support those in need today, but also in the future.
A lot of restaurants are going to have a hard time reopening. I think unemployment, unfortunately, is going to be higher than we've seen in quite a bit. So, the more that we could kind of get that funded, the better chance some of these people are going to have that are going to struggle.
It's unclear when restaurants will start to reopen at this time, but when they do, Symon says his goal is to reopen all of his restaurants. But he does recognize there will have to be a different approach both from business owners and customers.
It's going to be a learning experience, I think, for all of us. You could open it at 25%, 50%, 75%, 100%, and they'll go from there. But, I think there's a lot of things that we're going to have to do as restaurateurs that we've never had to do before either, spacing the tables correctly. I would imagine that servers and cooks should have masks on in the beginning and probably will. There's going to be a big learning curve for the restaurants. And, the more patient the customers are with us as we're going through the learning curve, I think the easier it'll make it for everybody.
Well, and we're glad that he is doing that. The messages, these personalized messages from Chef Symon are $80 a piece. 100% of the money raised will go to the association's Restaurant Relief Fund. They have already raised $6,000. If you want to help, we have a link on our website, WKYC.com. All right. Wow, today was a surprise. I wasn't expecting weather this nice, but let's go to Matt's house. Matt Wintz has perfected the art of weather at home with his kids. Matt, I hope Emmy and River are doing well. Tell them Uncle Jay says hello. And your weather word today, I'm really optimistic here. Let's go with summertime. My life needs a little summertime. I hope you can fit that word into your forecast seamlessly.
Yeah, I think that'll be pretty easy, Jay. You know what? You're not the only one that's surprised today. Meteorologists are not supposed to say they're surprised by the weather, but I thought we'd have more rain on radar this afternoon. There is literally a warm frontal boundary sitting right over us right now, and it doesn't take much to spark showers and storms around that, but it has been quiet so far today. So I hope you get a little time to get outside between commercial breaks here and enjoy it, Jay. The kids certainly are today. They're going crazy in your yard. They're going to pass out tonight. That'll be a good sleep for all of us, I think. So let's take a look at the satellite right now. We've had plenty of sunshine across a good portion of northeast Ohio today. As I mentioned, that frontal boundary sitting right over us. So we have had a couple downpours out towards the west. Some dark clouds building over me now. We'll see what happens out of this, but we do run the risk of some isolated downpours as we go throughout the evening as that boundary remains focused. But look off to the west. That's where all the activity is. A vigorous cold front working its way south and east. The severe threat is mainly focused areas of Oklahoma and Texas, where they're expecting not just tornadoes but damaging winds and hail tonight. But that threat also extends up towards Chicago. That's the activity we'll have to watch tomorrow. But overall, not expecting any big severe weather event out of this system. Temperatures have impressed. We're in the low to mid 60s where we expected it for most of us, but some areas up near 70 degrees today, including at Hopkins, up in the upper 60s this afternoon. The wind, this is what we call variable. It's out all sorts of directions, but notice way down to the south, that strong southerly push. That's where the warm frontal boundary actually is. That will overtake the area overnight tonight. Look at the temperatures across the country. Mid-90s in Texas. It's 81 in St. Louis, 75 in Louisville. This is the air mass we're going to tap in tomorrow. I would not be surprised if we have a couple areas that are in the mid, even upper 70s tomorrow afternoon, as you'll see here in a little bit. But tonight, we're all mild. We stay in the 50s. We will be dodging some downpours. Your National Zymarn hour-by-hour forecast shows that as the warm front lifts off to the north. But then tomorrow looking a lot drier, at least at the beginning, than what models were indicating the last couple days. So that means we're going to warm up. We may have some sun here and there, isolated downpours as well, but most of the activity should be west of us most of the day. Look at that south wind, though. We'll have gusts to 30 at times as we go throughout the day, pumping in that warm air. And temperatures, I think, will impress. Look at what our model's saying. At 5 o'clock tomorrow, we've got mid and upper 70s from Akron down towards Dover. A little bit cooler back towards the west as that rain and some of the showers and storms move in. But I think the bulk of the rain moves in late tomorrow, so we will have lots of dry hours. And then tomorrow night, the model's indicating a big surge in moisture along this could bring some heavy rain in here as we go into your Wednesday night and Thursday morning. The system heads east as we go into your Thursday. This turns into a little bit more of a raw weather pattern where we have that spiraling low, much like we had Sunday across the area. That will bring periods of showers to the area on Thursday, but still not really cold. We should still make it into the 60s. Rainfall forecast, you could see that some areas could see upwards of 2 inches of summertime-like rainfall as we headed into your Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Boy, barely, I kept you hanging. Universal Windows Direct 7-day
right
forecast.
Down to the wire.
Near 70 tomorrow. Notice how we go down. The weekend's still looking good. We may not hit 70 Saturday, but we're going to come darn close. And Sunday not looking bad either. So, Jay, we'll send it back to you. I like to keep you hanging.
Well, you did on that one. I thought you were going to forget about it. I said, no, I need summertime, and you came through. Matt, thank you as always. All right, still to come on What's New, what Ohioans are saying about Governor DeWine's about-face on wearing masks in public. Plus, grading the Browns draft. That's all ahead. Steph has what's clicking in Cleveland next.
Hello.
Well, now it's time to see what has been clicking in Cleveland with our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney. And Stephanie, people are reacting to Governor DeWine's decision not to make wearing a face mask mandatory.
They are, Betsy, and Governor DeWine said he did it because some Ohioans found it offensive, but there are definitely some people who find this change in course offensive, like this person who says that they just don't understand how we can all accept that we have to wear pants in public, but covering your, quote, germ-spewing mouth that might carry a virus that could kill is offensive. And then there's this person who says, shame on you to DeWine for not backing up the people on the front lines, referring, of course, to people working in the public. Now, remember though, just because the state is not requiring it doesn't mean a store won't require you to have a face mask to come inside. This person points out that we can all choose to go to stores that support our values and standards, saying she'll keep wearing her mask, but she's not going to police others who don't. Now, despite this latest controversy, DeWine is getting a lot of attention on the national stage for his leadership here in Ohio. This morning, in a New York Times article, New York Times writer Tripp Gabriel called DeWine proactive, bold, and said he's become a household name. And a new poll from Baldwin Wallace College shows that 85% of Ohioans approve of what DeWine is doing overall, and 90% of people trust him to give that accurate information. And the trust is really where it's at, and that is hard to come by. Okay, now let's talk football. In the last round of the draft, the Cleveland Browns did grab themselves a wide receiver. So our 3 News sports analyst, Ben Axelrod, took a look at how he stacks up with the rest of our offense. And we've got that for you right now. We're first going to start with the running backs. You know, our number 1 running back, of course, Nick Chubb, who was just incredible last year, our offensive MVP for the Browns. In the number 2 spot there, we've got Kareem Hunt. He's re-signed, so he's coming back. And then number 3, we've got Dontrell Hilliard, who is coming up on year 3 in the NFL. Now, if we take a look at the wide receivers, we've broken these down into 2 groups. First up, we've got Odell Beckham Jr. He's hoping to have a more powerful season this year. In the number 2 spot in this group, we've got the new Donovan Peoples-Jones, our last pick in round 3 on Saturday. And then Kaderil Hodge in that group. Now, if we take a look at the next group of wide receivers, we've got Jarvis Landry coming back again, Damian Ratley, and then Taywan Taylor, and this will be his 2nd season with the Browns. Now, if we take a look at our new coach, Kevin Stefanski, he's a fan of having 2 wide receivers in the setup on the field. So we could see some OBJ and Landry teaming up there. But we do have to remember, Betsy, that they are coming back on surgeries in this offseason. So could be a good chance for those number 2 guys like Peoples-Jones to step up. And we'll be very interested to see what happens there.
Awesome. Good stuff. Well, Clevelanders love to, see those guys come up from behind. So we do appreciate, the team coming together. That's what we need more than all. Just get a win. I don't care who does the thing. Just get a win. All right. Thanks, Stephanie.
That's right.
All right. Are you missing graduation? A lot of people are. And high school seniors are probably missing it the most. They're being hit by no school. Coming up, a look at what schools are planning to do for graduation. And making masks. We have DIY plans, including what you need to know before you get started. And Mother's Day, it will be here before you know it. We have some contactless ideas that will put a smile on your mama's face. We'll be right back.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Welcome back, everybody, to What's New. I'm Betsy Kling here in the studio. My co-host, Jay Crawford, still in Studio J in his home. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. We're going to start off by getting you up to date on the newest coronavirus information. Governor DeWine changed his mind on making masks mandatory in stores. Today, he said wearing masks is still recommended and strongly, but not mandatory. He changed his mind after getting some backlash. Rite Aid is expanding its coronavirus testing criteria at a self-swab site. Now, any 18-year-old or older showing new coronavirus symptoms will be eligible. A doctor's note is not required. The sites are part of a partnership with the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. And the new numbers today show the coronavirus has now been confirmed in all of Ohio's 88 counties. The last county to report a positive case was Vinton County, which now has 3 cases of COVID-19. Now it's time for our top talker. High school seniors are supposed to be looking forward to graduation right now, but those are getting canceled or they're having to go digital. But we found one school getting creative with commencement. Romney Smith explains how they are still making it possible.
Fairview High School has around 130 seniors who won't miss graduation, but it will now be spread out over a few days to accommodate social distancing guidelines. Fairview High School leaders figured out a way to save graduation with reserved time slots for commencement. Families will be able to attend and make sure they don't miss one of the biggest moments of their students' lives, and it will all get done in about 10 minutes.
It'll take about a minute, come down the aisle, another minute or so, and then it'll give us plenty of time up on stage to hand diplomas, and then we'll also have photographers there that will be able to take a photo with the graduate with the backdrop of Fairview's logo. Parents can then get in that photo as well, and then plenty of time to move right on out.
After the student receives his or her diploma, they will exit the building and their family will follow so they can keep graduation rolling. Now we know 10 minutes sounds pretty quick, but keep in mind this will last for hours every day for about 4 to 5 days. That way every high school senior who wants to walk across the stage gets their special moment.
Very good. All right, time to get a check of our headlines, and for that, we're going to throw it to my good friend, Russ Mitchell, who's back at the station. And Russ, before we dive into the headlines, it's been like a month and a half since I've actually seen you in person. You know I like to do a welfare check on you every now and again and just see how everything's going. You doing okay?
I am doing just fine. Nothing personal, Jay. I'm sorry we haven't seen each other for so long. I hope you're doing well. Also, you look great.
Hanging in there, my friend, hanging in there. Anxious to get back to normal like everyone else, but I'm hanging in there.
All right, hopefully we'll see you here soon. Here is what's happening this afternoon. The Catholic bishops of Ohio have extended the suspension of masses through May 29th. In a news release, the bishops thanked parishioners for understanding, adding they realize the sadness this causes. These next 2 stories, kind of a mixed bag. 420 people have been cleared after beating coronavirus in Cuyahoga County. This comes from the County Department of Health. On the other hand, across the country, the U.S. has reached 1 million confirmed cases of COVID-19. There have been more than 56,000 deaths across the country. So not a way we want to leave you this afternoon, Jay, but more than news tonight at 6 o'clock.
Those numbers really staggering.
Yeah.
Russ, thanks. We appreciate it. We'll see you at 6. All right, cue the music, please. It is that time again. What is happening in the world of entertainment? Here's Steph with today's Pop Break.
Chrissy Teigen is not here for body shaming. When the queen of Twitter posted a video in a swimsuit the other day, one rude Twitter user replied that she was shaped like SpongeBob. Teigen wasn't having it, writing back, "I know you ain't talking." After other haters chimed in, one user wrote to her, "I'm sorry everyone is being so rude to you. You are beautiful inside and out." Of course, Teigen is no beginner at this, saying, "It's okay, I've been a rectangle my whole life, and it's gotten me pretty far." It's safe to say the accomplished model is pretty okay with how she looks.
And you know what? I saw the rumor like a while back that you didn't drive your own car. You drove your car that day.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you.
Saying.
I appreciate you saying that.
James Corden is once again talking about the carpool karaoke shocker, where video showed him and Justin Bieber being towed behind another car for the sketch. At the time, an executive producer for the show said they only use a rig when something might make it too dangerous to drive. And Corden finally told the world what it was last night while talking with Joe Jonas.
the genuine reason why I didn't drive with Justin.
Yeah, I'm curious.
I had a problem with my eye, and we were worried that it wasn't safe.
There you have it, folks. The internet can rest its case. And after all that drama, Felicity Huffman's daughter Sophia has been accepted to Carnegie Mellon University's drama school. This is after Huffman admitted to paying $15,000 to try and cheat her daughter's way into a better SAT score. A source told People magazine that Felicity is so proud and grateful that Sophia has kept her chin up over the last year, calling it a painful, challenging time that she pulled through with strength and grace. And Sophia's younger sister, Georgia, has just been accepted to Vassar. Here is another interesting story for you in the entertainment news world. Trolls World Tour has already made $100 million in 3 weeks. That's more money in 3 weeks than the entire 5-month theater run of the first Trolls movie. And they get to keep more money than they would if they've been splitting ticket sales with theaters, Jay. So as we look at this, NBC Universal executives have already said when theaters do reopen, yes, they will use them. But they're going to keep doing what they've been doing with Trolls because it's just more money for them. So I guess we can see that this is one thing that will not quite be going back to normal.
Yeah, I had a feeling that was coming. You're going to see more and more of that. Instead of movies being released theater-wide, you can stream them. It's going to save the production companies a whole lot of money. Stephanie, thank you very much. Okay, ahead on What's New, healthy skin. Staying at home might have you stressed and out of your routine a bit. Coming up, we're going to give you tips to keeping your skin healthy and blemish-free. And Matt, how's the weather looking?
Hi there, Jay. A beautiful day outside, but we are watching some showers and thunderstorms that'll be developing overnight as we get out towards the west. Those will impact us on our northeast Ohio Wednesday. I've got the forecast for you coming up.
Well, this is kind of interesting. It's time for the pop quiz. Before Ohio City was a Cleveland neighborhood, it was actually a separate city. In what year did it become part of Cleveland? 1803, 1836, or 1854? We'll be right back. All right, back with a little Cleveland history for you. It's time for the answer to our pop quiz. We asked you, what year did Ohio City become part of Cleveland? The answer is 1854. According to ohiocity.org, Ohio City, which was also known as the City of Ohio at the time, because, you know, that makes sense, was originally part of Brooklyn Township. In 1836, the City of Ohio became an independent municipality. Not sure at what point they decided to shorten it to Ohio City, but it remained that way until 1854 when it finally became a part of the City of Cleveland. Whew, that was a lot. All right, today Governor DeWine strongly recommended people wear masks in public, but covering your mouth can make it more difficult for people who are hearing impaired to understand you. So a 17-year-old in California created a face mask with clear vinyl centers, which will allow deaf people to continue to read lips. Pretty slick. She came up with the idea after watching a family friend struggle to communicate.
I noticed that there have been a lot of posts about how hard it is for them to communicate. And during this time, I had already been sewing regular masks, so I started researching on how I could accommodate them to everybody.
Well, she is taking orders, and all of the money raised will go to the Hearing Aid Project, which provides free hearing aids to those who can't afford them. Just go to talking-masks.com. Talking-masks.com. And if you do want to make your own mask yourself, here's a couple things to keep in mind. Now, it's all about the material. This is whether you're doing a surgical mask that you can buy or you're making your own. The material is everything because that is where your filtration is. It's known as efficiency, or how much of the particles the material will be trapping. T-shirts had a 10% efficiency. Scarves had a 10 to 20% efficiency. Sweatshirts are a little bit better at trapping those particles, 20 to 40% efficiency. And towels, which most likely are tea towels, those tightly woven towels, they're effective with 40% efficiency. Now, most medical masks have 30 to 50% efficiencies. That does not, of course, include the N95 mask. That's a 95% efficiency, thus the N95. Now, if you can get all the materials together, now we talk about the loops, right? The loop that goes around your ears. The band can actually start to bother your ears too. So a nurse in Massachusetts came up with a pretty slick solution for that. She sewed buttons on a headband, and now you can just button your mask to your head with the headband. Plus, it keeps the hair away.
I actually got buttons from my mother-in-law, and I found out that some of these buttons go back over 100 years old.
That is pretty slick, and so far she's donated more than 100 headbands to healthcare workers. I'm telling you, people are coming up with the fanciest things, and it's all about fashion statements too, you know. As Matt Winch joins us now from his house, and we're keeping an eye out for rain. Matt, I have to tell you, I've been back down in my basement making more prototypes of masks, trying to figure out exactly which one works the best for me. And it's been kind of fascinating to watch how things have evolved, but we'll have more information on that coming up in the coming days. But for now, it looks like drive-in weather is happening this evening.
Yeah, it is. He pulled over to eat some chips and spit them out and hand them right back to me. So it's been great. Betsy, I didn't tell you, you actually inspired my mom to make some masks. And so we just got some in the mail. Thanks, Mom. But she sewed all sorts of beautiful masks for the kids. So you're inspiring people. I know, you're just doing it at home. But
well, I will say, Matt, if people are making masks and they don't know where to send them, hold on to them. I have something coming. We're trying to button up the final details, but we will be able to use them right here in Northeast Ohio. Very important project coming up. We'll have more details on that, but now we need more details on weather.
Sure. All right. Let's talk about the weather. Emmy wanted to say hi to you as well. She heard Betsy. So, yeah, she's coming over to babysit next weekend. Mommy and Daddy get a date night. Trust me. Thanks, Betsy, in advance. Let's talk about the allergies first, because these trees are blooming everywhere. It is a beautiful time in Northeast Ohio. We've waited so long for this. I think it's finally here. So we've got moderate tree pollen tomorrow, grass pollen, weed pollen, and mold still in the low category. But I would imagine that tree pollen is going to sneak up to the high category here over the next week or so. So high temperatures, these are official. Hot off the press over the last 15 minutes. Mansfield checked in at 70 today. Cleveland, the hot spot, up towards the lakeshore at 69. I think they had a hairdryer on over at the airport because we were only in the low 60s to get down towards Akron and New Philly. Youngstown checking in at 62. It was certainly a mild afternoon. Beautiful. We stayed rain-free across 98% of the area. You can see we are a little bit cooler off to the east, warmest west. We're all going to stay mild tonight as temperatures only fall back into the 50s. And you can see as we look at the winds, they are variable right now, but that push of wind you see way down to the south, that's the actual warm front that will surge in here tonight, helping to keep us mild. And that's out ahead of a weather system that is a game changer in terms of temperatures across the upper Midwest. Look at the 80s and the 70s out in advance of this front, but you get behind that front up towards Minneapolis, we're back into the 50s. Lots of warm air to be had with this. I would imagine we're all going to make it into at least the 70s across areas down to the south and east tomorrow, as you'll see here in the forecast. I've got dark clouds overhead right now. That is actually a lake breeze. You can see the satellite picture there, some clearing as you get up towards the lakeshore. The clouds just inland. That lake breeze kind of flirting with the Cleveland area and out east, but by and large, the bigger picture showing just a couple isolated downpours here this evening along that warm front. Still can't rule out a couple pop-ups here as we go throughout the rest of the evening, but the bigger picture showing that area low pressure with showers and storms now exploding. Areas of Missouri and Kansas, that will be the severe weather outbreak tonight. The bulk of that will stay west of us and south of us. We're not expecting anything big in terms of severe weather when this pushes in tomorrow. We're just lacking the instability. But we're certainly going to be mild. We're in the 50s tonight. You see the rainfall returning here and there. Your National Design Mart hour-by-hour forecast lifting that warm front north with some of those popcorn-like showers and storms. Tomorrow, I think we have many dry hours tomorrow. It's going to be breezy and warm out ahead of that front. We're near 60 as you are up and at 'em tomorrow morning. I think by noon, we're up near 70 degrees, just isolated downpours here and there. But then the bulk of that activity moves in tomorrow late in the afternoon and evening. I think that's when we'll see most of our rainfall after a day that we reach into the 70s for many of you with that gusty south wind. The rain really comes down tomorrow evening as this front kind of lingers in the area. Could have some heavier downpours lingering into Thursday morning as well. And then Thursday, a different story versus tomorrow. We're going to have a wind that continues to gust, but we'll have showers that are on and off pretty much all day long. Notice temperatures a little bit cooler as well. We should only make it into the 60s at best and turning cooler towards evening. I mentioned the heavier rainfall. Could see 1 to 2 inches of rain if things come together, especially out towards the east. That goes all the way through Friday, so we may have some minor flooding. All right, let's look at the big picture over the next 10 days. There's that dip in the jet stream on Thursday, signifying some of the cooler air. But look how the ridge builds in across the eastern half of the country this weekend, all to be followed by some more cool air as we go into next week. So we're not quite done with the cool air yet, but these nice hits of warm are nice. Universal Windows Direct 7-day forecast. I think close to 70 tomorrow, a little bit cooler Thursday, Friday. As of this point, Saturday looking great. Still eyeing 70 degrees. I think we'll stay in the 60s, but a beautiful weekend out ahead of us. We'll send it back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Matt. And I know a lot of people want to get out and do some gardening, but an old Ohio rule of thumb is Mother's Day is when the gardens go in. All right, thanks so much, Matt. Appreciate that. Well, the stress from everything that's been going on right now is definitely affecting our skin. You've changed your exercise, your eating habits. It's also introduced a few more pimples and blemishes on our faces than we're used to, and maybe a little bit of stress. But we have some ideas on how to keep them away. A Cleveland Clinic dietitian recommends using a natural, unscented facial cleanser and washing your face twice a day. Keep up with daily showers. Yes, even social distancing. You have to keep up with your daily showers, even if you're not active. And don't forget, wear your sunscreen. A lot of folks have been going out to try and get out of the house a little bit, soak up some of that sun, get some natural vitamin D. You need to pile on the sunscreen. Wear at least a SPF 30 when you go outside. And last but not least, very important, stay hydrated.
Drinking enough water, like our skin can either look like a raisin or a grape depending on how hydrated we are. So water definitely plays a role, not in our overall, body status, but also our skin. So when you're dehydrated, the skin's going to look dry, wrinkly, more irritated, and oftentimes more aged. So making sure you're getting enough water intake is also really important.
Hopefully we've got the soft focus here on the cameras in the studio because I'm a little more raisin than grape. What a horrible way to think about that. Okay, anyway, if you're having more persistent issues, vitamin A over-the-counter medications like retinols or benzoyl peroxides are useful too. Mother's Day is less than 2 weeks away, everybody, and this year it's going to be much different for a lot of people. Coming up, we share some sweet gifts that require zero contact. Plus, this Worth the Watch is pretty awesome. How one girl's contraption made quite the trick shot.
Welcome back to What's New. Dads, this one is for you. Variations of this post are floating around social media. You may have seen it. It reads, FYI, dads, your kids will not be bringing home handmade Mother's Day gifts from school this year. You have 12 days. That struck me as very funny. But in all seriousness, Mother's Day will be different this year for virtually all of us. So we found some no-contact gift ideas for mom. For many Americans, in-person Mother's Day celebrations may be off the table this year.
You can't go have your annual brunch with mom. You might not even be able to go to mom's house and see her on her special day.
But there are a lot of options to get a culinary experience delivered right to mom, including Gold Belly, which ships regional favorites nationwide, such as deep dish pizza from Chicago or bagels from New York. Subscription boxes are also an option, like a wine box from Wink.
Basically, for $40 a month, it sends 3 bottle shipments every month to mom's door.
You can't go wrong with flowers for Mother's Day. Companies like Bloomscape also offer potted plant delivery. Whatever you order, do it as soon as possible. Many retailers are reporting shipping delays due to COVID-19.
You probably need a week in business days to place the order to ensure that it will get to her on time.
You can also just ditch the shipping stress with a digital gift, like a subscription to Masterclass, to learn skills from celebrities.
This
is my masterclass.
Right now, if you buy an annual subscription for $180, you actually get a second pass for free.
So it could be a great interactive opportunity to do something with mom, even if you can't be in the same room as her, because you can do a class together.
Oh, you got 12.
Finding ways to spend time together, even if you have to be apart. And don't forget, a handwritten card or a simple video call can be just as meaningful as a physical gift. Well, how about a senior shout out? This one goes to Lizzie Shahan. Lizzie's a senior at Marlington High School. She's graduating with honors and was the captain of her cross-country team. She plans to attend Ohio University this fall. And Lizzie, What's New says to you, congratulations and best of luck going forward. Know a senior? Want to see them on Channel 3? You can send us your senior shout-outs. To do that, go to wkyc.com/senior shout-outs. This is cool. Some elementary students got to see their teachers today. Elementary teachers from Revere local schools drove by their students' houses today. They were in 70 decorated cars. Can you imagine the kids' faces when they saw their teachers in this parade? They were escorted by the school resource officer and another Richfield police officer. Pretty cool. At-home trick shots, boy, they've become a real thing during this quarantine. This one is really cool. The domino effect that lands a ping pong ball into a plastic cup. You've got to see it to believe it. It's our Worth the Watch next.
With that, Governor DeWine reverses course on whether customers will have to wear a mask inside stores.
Mic check, 1, 2, 3. It's time for our Worth the Watch, and today we have a great trick shot. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Thanks.
Oh, it's time now for our Worth the Watch. This is a really fun trick shot we have to show you. On Twitter, a young lady sets into effect a pretty spectacular thing. Okay, she flips the golf ball on the roof, and then it comes down and bounces off the trampoline, hits the wood, things start to tumble over, blah, 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 ball goes down, skateboard hits the ball then goes down, hits the smaller ball, and then it goes through the pots and lands in the cup. That is nuts. That's almost like your son Corey, Jay. He's had some pretty crazy things, but I haven't seen him using multiple trampolines and pots and pans and stuff. I think he needs to up his game.
Yeah, he does. He's big on the golf trick shots, but he just sent me a video of him. Now golf courses in California are starting to open again, so now he's on a real course. So he's probably done the last of his inside golf trick shots. He's moved on to the real thing.
He should
That's
be pretty
cool,
close, though, with chip shots. Like, he should be money on chip shots from now on. If he's not, I'm going to be disappointed.
I'm going to ask him later tonight, has your ping pong ball practice shots translated to your real game? My guess is no.
Not so much. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for watching What's New Today.
What Matters Most with Russ and Laura starts now.